30 foods you shouldn't eat raw. One, potatoes. You can eat spuds fried, roasted, mashed, or twice baked, but they are best not eaten raw. Spuds are one of our favorite and most adaptable foods. Green potatoes and raw potatoes contain harmful substances called glycoalkaloids that can upset the stomach. These foods should never be consumed. Not to add, it wouldn't have a very appealing texture or taste. Rhubarb leaves. The edible parts of the rhubarb plant are the stalks, but the leaves can be poisonous and cause breathing problems, burning in the mouth and throat, and even seizures. Rhubarb is typically sold without leaves, but if you choose to grow it yourself, make sure to remove them beforehand. Lima beans. You should never eat a legume raw, even if you were made to eat them as a child. The chemical limonene, which is found in lima beans, decomposes into cyanide. Fortunately, the beans can be cooked for only 10 to 20 minutes and are safe to consume. Red kidney beans. Red kidney beans are even more of a no-no than white kidney beans when it comes to being raw. Merely 4 or 5 of them may have elevated concentrations of the lectin toxin, which can result in a serious foodborne illness. After cooking them for a full 30 minutes, make sure all of the lectin has escaped by completely draining the water. Wild mushrooms. Eating wild mushrooms, raw or cooked, without the guidance of a qualified specialist is never safe. The majority of mushroom varieties found in supermarkets are safe to eat raw, but sautéing them with some spices really brings out the flavor. Eggs. You are probably not surprised that eating raw eggs can expose you to the risk of salmonella infection. To guarantee that any bacteria that may be present is eliminated, the egg must be cooked to a safe temperature of 145 degrees Fahrenheit. Cook eggs to 160 degrees Fahrenheit if combining them with other ingredients. If a recipe calls for raw eggs, she suggests using pasteurized eggs or egg products. 7. Beef and chicken. The footnotes on restaurant menus cautioning you against consuming raw or undercooked meat and poultry should always be taken seriously. Cooking meats to a minimum safe internal temperature is recommended. That's 160 degrees Fahrenheit for ground meats. That's 145 degrees Fahrenheit for steaks, roasts, or chops of beef or lamb, and then let it rest for 3 minutes. The internal temperature of the chicken and turkey should be 165 degrees Fahrenheit. You are operating at risk below these temperatures. Cassava. Many African and South American dishes use cassava as a main ingredient. Nevertheless, for best flavor and safety, bake or roast the raw root and its leaves as they contain a cyanide derivative, just like lima beans. 9. Elderberries. The berries can be poisonous when raw, despite their reputation for treating colds, the flu, and even acne and irritated skin. It is best to bring them to a full boil before incorporating them into your preferred syrup or elixir. Eggplant. Although solanine, a glycoalkaloid compound found in raw potatoes, is present in eggplant as well, it is still not recommended to consume eggplant raw. It's a win-win situation because, according to a food chemistry study, sautéing eggplant in olive oil can increase its antioxidant content. Pufferfish. Pufferfish should never be consumed raw. Even when cooked, there is still a risk involved. The pufferfish produces a poisonous substance known as tetrodotoxin, which heat does not always eliminate. To ensure that none of the remaining fish is contaminated, the toxin-containing portions of the fish must be carefully and completely removed. Sprouts. It can be dangerous to eat raw sprouts such as alfalfa and mung beans, because pathogenic bacteria can enter the seeds before they germinate. Immune system weakened individuals and pregnant women may be at risk from this. Bitter almonds. As cyanogenic plants, bitter almonds are plants that contain cyanide in their growth. Nuts are safe to eat raw, but they become problematic when uncooked or undercooked. Milk. It is necessary for milk and milk products to be processed before consumption. Pasteurization is a crucial step in preventing certain serious foodborne illnesses that can lead to infections in dairy products. Honey. To ensure its safety for consumption, honey must go through comparable procedures to those of milk. The reason honey is pasteurized is that raw honey may contain spores of the toxin Clostridium botulinum, which can be harmful to infants and pregnant women. Flour. Eating that cookie dough carries a double risk, because raw flour can cause illness, in addition to the raw eggs used in baking. The CDC suggests avoiding all foods that may contain uncooked flour due to a 2016 E. coli outbreak that was thought to be caused by raw flour. Additionally, there are more substances in raw flour, known as phytates or phytic acid. Certain minerals, like iron, zinc, and calcium, are bound by phytotates, which stops them from being absorbed. However, you should be safe if you cook the food that contains raw flour. If the bread contains yeast and is allowed to rise, it will ferment, destroying some of the phytates, or it can soak before cooking. Green beans. Although they may not be as toxic as previously believed, raw green beans may contain higher concentrations of the protein lectin, which is present in many beans, and can lead to digestive issues. The safest way to eat green beans is to blanch them, which significantly lowers their lectin content. Rice. It would be completely unsafe to consume raw rice, even if you could manage to chew it. A study published in the International Journal of Food Microbiology suggests that it might include bacteria that cause illness. Although cooked rice normally doesn't contain it, it can start to form if rice is left out, or improperly refrigerated after cooking, so it's crucial to take precautions when preparing it. Broccoli. Cooking broccoli can increase its cancer-fighting compounds, called glucosinolates, which is one vegetable that has nutritional benefits. When broccoli was steamed as opposed to fried or boiled, the amount of glucosinolates was either preserved or increased, while the compounds significantly degraded in the frying and boiling methods. Additionally, cooking broccoli instead of eating it raw may make it much easier for your digestive system to process. Cauliflower. Similar to broccoli, this vegetable can also be difficult to digest and tolerate when raw. Cauliflower tastes great when roasted or grilled, and it may be easier on the stomach. According to a study conducted by the Institute of Food Technologists, baking or grilling cauliflower instead of boiling it resulted in the least amount of mineral and nutritional loss. Asparagus. One of those vegetables that tastes better when properly seasoned and cooked is asparagus. In addition, it's actually healthier. When compared to eating the raw stalks, cooking green asparagus raises its antioxidant content, according to research from the Institute of Food Technologists. Brussels sprouts. Cooked Brussels sprouts are undoubtedly more flavorful and lose some of their bitterness. In addition, they may produce less gas and bloating than raw ones. Isothiocyanates, a cancer-fighting substance released when sprouts are cooked, may help stop tumor growth, according to Harvard University's School of Public Health. Kale. Kale. Although kale salad makes a perfectly satisfying meal or side dish, it may not be the healthiest for your digestion. Kale's fibers can be softer and digestion facilitated by cooking. Furthermore, the Linus Pauling Institute at Oregon State University states that cooked kale is better for people with thyroid disease, because raw kale can prevent the thyroid gland from absorbing iodine. Cabbage. Similar to kale, cabbage belongs to the cruciferous family. Some people find it tough to digest raw, but cooking it also increases its vitamin C, vitamin K, magnesium, and folate content. Apples. One of these a day will keep the doctor away, so the saying goes back decades. Its high levels of fiber and antioxidants can be both a benefit and a drawback. Foods containing excessive amounts of fiber can cause digestive problems for some people. Apples are another fruit high in fructose. Fructose is a FODMAP, a substance that some individuals may need to cut out of their diet in order to get rid of bloating, IBS, or other digestive issues. Apples may be easier to digest if they are peeled and cooked, such as in baked apples or applesauce. Olives. Eating olives directly off the tree is preferred to preserve freshness and taste. Olives must be cured in order to make them less enjoyable to eat and much more bitter. 27. Spinach. Sprouted or raw, spinach is nutrient-dense. However, steaming it can help improve digestion and make it easier for you to absorb the iron and calcium. Sprouted spinach helps the body absorb more nutrients, because cooking it reduces the oxalic acid, which normally prevents the absorption of iron and calcium. Zucchini. In contrast to frying or steaming, boiling zucchini can increase its nutrient factor, according to research published in the Journal of Agriculture and Food Chemistry. Remember, though, that the nutrients in the zucchini are concentrated in its skin, so don't remove it. Tomatoes. Roasted, baked, boiled, or cooked tomatoes are all delicious. However, heating them releases an antioxidant called lycopene, which may strengthen the heart and lower the risk of developing some cancers. Cooking facilitates the breakdown of cell walls, releasing nutrients such as lycopene. Foods that have been cooked tend to be easier to digest, because the cell walls are broken down. Pumpkin. When baked into breads, pies, and soups, one of our favorite fall flavors becomes even more flavorful, and might even be healthier for you. Acorn, terracotta, and butternut squash, as well as cooked pumpkin, have high levels of vitamins A and E, even though you probably wouldn't want to eat them raw.